This is Zach Perlman with Universal Temple, Los Angeles. Today's study topic is living in alignment with universal spiritual laws. We're going to explore the concept of universal spiritual principles. And I'd like to start kind of with a different question, and that's, do you live by a mission statement? Is there some sort of code of ethics that you live by? And before you really, answer that for yourself, I want to cheerfully remind you that if you work for a corporation or even a nonprofit organization, chances are that while you're on the clock, that company or that organization expects you to be fulfilling its mission statement, fulfilling its the manifestation and realization and attainment of its core values. So, do you have a mission statement or a code of ethics that you're living by when you're not on the clock working for them? How do you decide how you should be living? How do we know how we should be living? How do we know what we should be doing with our lives? A conservative Christian or Orthodox Jew might answer that the Ten Commandments are their code of ethics, and the Bible provides all the spiritual law they would ever need, and so that's their map. People into newer, more cutting edge, say New Age resources or Old Age resources. Some other things come to mind, like the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I'm not entirely joking when I say the laws of the land or common law. So, how do we know how we should be living? The concept I'm exploring today with you is, are there universal spiritual laws? Are there universal spiritual principles that we should be leaning on, that we should be learning about and knowing? I mean, do you think the universe is random, or is it orderly? If it is orderly, do you know the laws? One of the alleged laws of prosperity is that you should look for the patterns in nature, you should look for the patterns in business, and then position your venture to profit when the pattern repeats itself. So we want to know what the patterns are, right? Because what happens when you disregard the laws of physics? Does your venture go well? What happens when you disregard the laws of nature? The laws of farming? Are you likely to reap a good harvest? Probably not. But I want to make this a little more exciting for you than farming. So, imagine this. Imagine that I have two magnets. I have a magnet in my left hand and a magnet identical to it in my right hand. When I say the two magnets are identical, I mean they're the same color, the same size, the same weight, the same shape, everything. Manufactured by the same company. I mean, they are identical, only except for one thing. And this is my point. One of the magnets displays this amazing, seemingly miraculous power. And the other one, there's something wrong with it. I'm not sure why, but it doesn't work. Well, I'm kidding you for the point. I do know why the other one doesn't work. Do you know that the thing that makes the magnet magnetize, the thing which makes one magnet useless and the other one display this amazing, seemingly miraculous power, is alignment of the molecules. It's alignment of the molecules inside the magnet. The magnet which has its molecules aligned displays the power. The magnet which its molecules are not aligned, it's pretty useless. So the metaphor here is that the magnet is you, and The concept of alignment can be thought of on different levels. One of them is the alignment of thoughts, feelings, and actions. Have you ever noticed whether or not your thoughts, feelings, and actions really align on, say, something like money or charity or work or even what you eat? Is what you think about eating and what you feel about eating and what you do about eating all in alignment? That's one level. Thoughts, feelings, and actions. Another level is aligning with the forces of nature. The sun, the moon, fire, and water. Going back to, say, farming. Learning the laws of the land and the seasons, the cycle of the seasons. That's a level. Another level of aligning is with the laws of spirit, and that's bringing it more back to what I'm exploring with you today. Aligning with God, aligning with your life purpose, aligning with universal spiritual principles, universal spiritual laws. Assuming there are some, do we know what they are? Do we know the laws? What I have in front of me now that I'll read to you is a short list of the 7 hermetic laws of ancient Egypt, attributed to Hermes, sometimes called the 7 hermetic laws. Number 1 is usually explained as the law of mentalism, the principle of mentalism, that all is consciousness. The universe is infinite mind. The second law, hermetic law, is the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. Another way to say it is as within, so without. The third hermetic law is the principle of vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates, just at different rates, different frequencies. The next hermetic principle is polarity. Everything has a dual nature. Everything has 2 sides or 2 poles. And each polarity has the seed of its opposite within it. The next hermetic law is gender. The principle of gender is that everything in existence has a masculine and feminine side or quality to it. Gender manifests on all planes of existence. The 6th principle is rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has tides rising and falling, like a pendulum swinging. And the last of the 7 hermetic laws is cause and effect, typically referred to as the law of karma, but here it is explained that every cause has an effect, and every effect has a cause. Everything happens according to law. There's no such thing as chance. So as I went over those 7, I hope that you're checking in with yourself inside to see if you feel that, are these true or not? The part of you that knows truth, the part of you that can recognize what is true, what feels true. Something peculiar I notice about the 7 hermetic laws is that as widespread as they are studied in the occult realm especially, but they were studied very, very heavily during the Renaissance period, it's strange to me that the law of one is not among the hermetic laws. I would have thought that it would have been. So what do I mean by the law of one? I mean, perhaps one of the main principles of the universal laws is that all is one, and one is all. Nearly every religion and spiritual tradition has among its members a group of mystics who acknowledge this principle as being perhaps the most profound of all the the ways in which the universe works. I also noticed that the 7 hermetic laws do not mention anything about grace or serendipity, anything about unconditional love or forgiveness, and I don't notice anything about judgment. Those are all things which Jesus spoke about. And for those who do turn to the Bible as a map of spiritual law, those passages are certainly worth considering. Speaking of love, for sure you've heard of the Golden Rule. If we're looking for widespread evidence of acceptance or widespread awareness of a universal spiritual principle, surely the Golden Rule qualifies, and that's why it's called the Golden Rule, is because virtually every culture endorses it on some level. The Baha'i faith, Buddhism, Christianity, Confucianism, Hinduism, Islam, Jainism, Judaism, Sikhism, Taoism, Unitarianism, Zoroastrianism, and more. All practice the Golden Rule, and all have in their traditions a saying, something akin to treat not others in ways that you yourself would not want to be treated. Or as in Matthew 7:12, we read from Christianity, in everything, do to others as you would have them do to you, for this is the law and the prophets. Meaning, that sums up everything. So if that really sums up everything, that's of course very important for us to be studying as a universal spiritual principle. And there's, as I said, much evidence across the world's traditions. This is a very universal principle. Nearly as widespread, but not quite as much. There is evidence in many of the major religious traditions, the principle of God being within us. In Christianity we read, John 14:20, we read, on that day you will realize that I am in the Father, you in me, and I in you. That was Jesus speaking. In the Gospel of Luke 17:21, we read, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Again, that's Jesus saying that. The kingdom of heaven is within you. On that day, you will realize I'm in the Father, you are in me, and I am in you. From Kabbalah, we have one God and Father of all, above all, through all, and in you all. From Islam, they have the saying, those who know themselves know their God. Buddhists have the saying, look within, you are the Buddha. The Hindu scriptures say that individual consciousness and universal consciousness are one. Yoga and the yoga sciences, which come out of India and Hinduism, teach that God dwells within you as you. Even Confucianism, philosophy of China, ancient China, says heaven, earth, and human are of one body. Taoism, also from that region, teaches that being one with the Tao, you shall attain the divine. So this overlap of heaven and earth, God and man, the divine being within, the kingdom of heaven being within us, it's nearly a universal mystical teaching, along with the teaching of the law of one and the Golden Rule. So what does your inner wisdom tell you? How should we be living? Consider the magnet metaphor and what happens when the molecules are all in alignment and that seemingly miraculous power of magnetism is just effortlessly displayed. It's not generated. It's not that the power was non-existent and when the chemistry was just right, it got created and came into being. No, it was there the whole time. And you are the magnet. As we already know, most of this comes back to the golden rule, and it comes back to love. It comes back to radiating loving kindness. So let's close this study with practicing loving kindness, the radiating of love. And I'll invite you to close your eyes. If you're not driving or operating heavy machinery or something, if you're not watching children swim or something at the beach, if you can truly just relax for a moment, I invite you to join me in a quick guided meditation from the Buddhist tradition, the Mahayana Buddhist tradition of radiating loving kindness. What we do is we start with ourselves, and we wish that we might be happy and healthy and free, maybe with the intention of, as long as we're healthy and free, we can help others become more healthy and more free. And so we start with ourselves, and as we do this, as we feel loving kindness and practice just radiating that outwards, we widen our circle from just ourselves to everything, to the whole world, the whole universe. And it goes like this. May I be happy, healthy, and free. May my family be happy, healthy, and free. May everyone in our tribe be happy, healthy, and free. May our neighbors also be happy, healthy, and free. May the whole neighborhood be happy, healthy, and free. May everyone in our city be happy, healthy, and free. May everyone in our nation be happy, healthy, and free. May everyone in our United Nations be happy, healthy, and free. May everyone in the world, the whole world, may everyone in the world be happy, healthy, and free. And may all the animals in the world, may they be also happy, healthy, and free. In fact, may all beings on earth be happy, healthy, and free. May all beings on other worlds be happy, healthy, and free. May all beings everywhere be happy, healthy, and free. May all beings everywhere be happy, healthy, and free. Thank you so very much for joining me today. I'll close with something very similar, but from the Christian, or technically the Jewish tradition, from the book of Numbers, chapter 6. If you've been to a traditional church anytime recently, you've probably heard this closing benediction as everyone leaves. The pastor usually says, "May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace." And all of God's people said, Amen.